Good morning. We are continuing on with probability. Today we are working on CO43. I can use probability to calculate the odds of an event. So, to do this, we need to know the difference between probability and odds. Sometimes people use them interchangeably, but they are actually different. So we have to be really careful that we are using them correctly. The probability of an event compares successful outcomes to total outcomes. Oops, I have to spell correctly. This is like a fraction. Okay. Odds of an event compares successful outcomes. So it starts out the same, but we're comparing it to something different. We're comparing it to unsuccessful outcomes. This is like a ratio. So when we're looking at the probability, we have successful to the total amount that's there. When we're looking at the odds, we have successful outcomes to unsuccessful. So how do we figure out what the total number of outcomes are if we're given the odds? With the probability, we're given the total number of outcomes, right? That's the bottom number. That's our fraction. If it's a ratio, think about what we did in the last unit when we were working with ratios. How did we find the total number? Yeah, you have to add the successful to the unsuccessful, right? So if we have flipping a coin 10 times, right? We're flipping that coin and we want to get heads. So I flipped heads 3 times. My successful outcomes are 3. So what's my unsuccessful? How many unsuccessful would there be if I flip my coin 10 times? 7. Because I flipped it 10 times. So if I flip and I get 3 heads, I want the heads. I know if I flipped it 10 times, 7 were unsuccessful. If I'm given that ratio 3 to 7, successful to unsuccessful, I know that there was a total of 10 flips. That's different than the probability. Probability, I flipped 3 heads out of a total of 10 flips. So our numbers are used differently. Super important that we know the difference between probability and outcome, what those numbers mean. Successful is always the first. That's the easy one. But with probability, the other number you're given is the total number of outcomes. With the odds, the other number you're given is the unsuccessful outcomes. We're going to put that into action. So sometimes we hear the definitions and we go, okay. Sometimes we hear the definitions and we go, kind of get it. So let's do some work and see how it is when we actually work with it. Sometimes doing the work makes it make more sense. So we have a standard 52 card deck. Just from that sentence, how many total outcomes do you think there are? Colton?
52.
52? There's 52 cards. That's our total outcome. We're going to write the probability as a fraction and then turn that fraction into a percentage, right? You divide it, get the decimal, and turn the decimal into your percentage. So with probability, we want to end with that percentage. So you're gonna write the fraction and then write the percentage. Then, we're going to write the odds of each event. Odds look different than the probability. Notice how when we write the odds of each event, and we're writing with the probability, we don't have to worry about turning it into simplest form because we're putting the percentage. So that fraction we're already simplifying when we turn it into our percentage. But the ratio that we put for the odds, we have to make sure it's simplified, right? So let's look at this first one. Choosing an odd numbered card. Tells us there are 20 odd number cards. So for probability, keep making my O's into A's. So for the probability, what's that fraction gonna look like? Henry?
20 over 52.
We take our successful, 20, over the total, which is 52. What's that percentage? About
38%.
38%. Now, we need to write the odds. What does that look like? Who can tell me what the odds are? Look back up at our definition. What does that comparing to? Give it a chance, Clara. What do you think?
20 plus.
Not plus. Remember, when we do a ratio, you can do the colon, you can do the word two, you can do it as a fraction, looking like a fraction, right? I like to do it with the colon. That's just my go-to. So 20 to what? What's the second number?
To 32.
Why 32?
Because 52 minus 20 plus 32.
52 total. We take away the successful 20 and we're left with 32 unsuccessful. Is that my final answer?
No.
Why not?
Use it.
What can I divide out of 20 that I can also divide out of 32? Henry?
4.
I can divide a 4 out. That scale factor of 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 32 divided by 4 is 8. That is my final odds. So I've got my probability as a percentage. And I'm noticing on here that we did have you simplify the fraction before we go to this. So for our homework, what would 20 over 52 simplify to?
413.
We divide,
Or 513.
yeah, 5/13. We could divide that scale factor of 4 out of both the top and the bottom. So 5/13 is our fraction simplified, which is 38%. Our odds simplified is 5 to 8. So if we look at that, successful is 5, total is 13, 5 plus 8 is 13. Let's look at our next one. Choosing a face card. What is the probability? What is our first fraction before we simplify it? What's the first fraction we would write? Finley?
12 over 52.
12 over 52. 12 successful out of 52. What is that simplified down? Laurel?
3/15.
I divide that scale factor of 4 out and I get 3/13. What is that percentage? Laurel?
23%.
23%. So that is my probability. 3/13, 23%. What are the odds? What is the first ratio that I should write? Finley?
Oh, 12, 3.
12 to 40. How did you get 40, Finley?
Because 52 minus 12 is 40.
The total of 52 minus our successful 12, I'm left with 40 unsuccessful. What can I simplify that down to? Elliot? 3/10. I can divide a scale factor of 4 out, and I'm left with 3/10. Does that make sense how we're gonna do this first page?
Yep.
You do your probability, do your first fraction, successful over total, simplify it down, divide it for your percent. Then for your odds, successful to unsuccessful, and simplify it down. So you have to subtract the successful from the total. Now let's look at our second page. In the game of blackjack, you and the dealer are each given 2 cards. How many of us have played blackjack? I know some people like to play it when we have game time. Yeah, there's quite a few of us that have played blackjack. Both your cards and one of the dealer's cards are up. But because it's a game of chance, one of his cards is flipped over. We don't know what it is. For each situation below, answer the question using probability with the simplified fraction and the percentage and the odds. So like what we were doing on the first page. Answers should be in simplest form and assume that you are using a new 52 card deck for each situation. So every problem that we have on here, it's a full new 50 card deck. You're not putting ones into the discard pile once you've used them. It's a new deck every time. And since one of the dealer's cards is unknown, it should be considered part of the 49 other unknown cards in the deck. So you're being told 3 cards out of the 52. 49 of them are unknown. The purpose of blackjack is to get as close to 21 as possible without going over, busting, right? You go over 21 and you bust, you lose. Each card has its numerical value. Base cards are worth 10 points. So jacks, queens, kings are worth 10 points. Aces can be worth either 1 point or 11 points. All right, so let's look at our first one. You are showing a queen and a 7. The dealer is showing a queen. What is the probability of drawing one more card and not busting? Now, to make this a little easier for us, in parentheses, he's got a number. What do you think that number means? Henry?
That is the number of possible cards that would work in this scenario.
And what do we call that? So think about our definitions.
Successful.
Yeah, so in parentheses is the successful outcomes. So he's giving you successful outcomes. You're not having to go through and say, okay, which cards do I need to get to 20? He's not making you do all of that math. He's telling you there are 16 successful outcomes still in the deck. So, what would, for probability, what would our first fraction look like? What is that first fraction? Think about what probability means. Successful over total. So what's that fraction? Holland? 16 over 52. That's not my final fraction, because what do I have to do with it? Simplify. So what scale factor can I do? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, why is that not right? Oh, this is important.
Start off first.
Dan, do you know?
Because there's already 3 out, so then it's 1.
There's already 3 cards being used. 2 are turned up for you, 1 is turned up for the dealer. So it's not 40 or 52 cards left. We have 49 cards left in the deck. Does that make sense? So 3 cards were already taken out of the deck, so you have 49 total outcomes left to choose from. Now, can I simplify 16 over 49? That is as simple as it gets. So I don't have to simplify it, but I do have to write my percentage. What is 16 over 49%? AJ? 33%. Now I need to do the odds. What are my odds going to look like? Everybody try to figure it out. I'm gonna call on someone. Figure out our odds. Remember what the odds numbers are. Successful outcomes to unsuccessful outcomes. Write down your ratio. What does it look like? And when you have it written down, raise your hand. What did you get, Victoria? How did you get, I know you got 16 because that's our successful number. How did you get 33, Victoria? That total number of 49, subtract out the 16, and that is our unsuccessful amount. Can I simplify that at all? No, it's as simple as it gets. Does this make sense, what you have to do? Yes. So the first page, we have that total amount of cards is out of the 52 card deck. On our second page, we've already used 3 cards. So it's 49 total outcomes. So you gotta be careful, making sure we're reading all of the parts of the question and we answer them with the information that we are given. When you are finished with this objective, if you still have Khan Academy to do, get it done. That is due tonight. I can answer questions in class. I can't answer questions at home tonight. Okay, due tonight. So ask me if you have questions. Packet number 7. I'm going to see if I can make the video real quick right now while you are working. That is due on Tuesday. Make sure you are turning it in by tomorrow if you want a chance to fix anything up. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.